Containers. What are containers in Blueprint? So far, you've learned how to create variables to hold a single value. However, sometimes we need to store a list of values or items. Then we can use containers. Let me show you. In this lesson, you're going to learn array, set, and map, which are the three most used containers in Blueprint scripting. When creating a variable, we give the variable a name, and then we need to specify a variable type. We compile, and this variable can hold only one value. That is because by default, this is a single item. If we want this variable can hold multiple values, like a list of them, we need to use either array, set, or map. For example, we use map and we compile, and then we can hold a list of integers. Alright, let's give an introduction of what these are: array, set, and map. An array is an ordered list of items where duplicates are allowed. So you can store a list of integers or some strings or some object actors in it, and it's an ordered list. That means the order matters, and you can have duplicated items. However, set is an unordered list of items, and every item has to be unique, like this. A map is a key value pairs. Basically, it has a key, basically is a name for some value. For example, we can use it to store inventory items. And the items has to be unique. Let's create some arrays. First array, let's call it number array. To hold some integers and array. Compile, and we can put some integer in it. 10, 20, 30, 70. So just put any numbers in it. Compile and save. Let's create another one. String. You can name it whatever you want. And then we change the type into string. Array. Also the color changed. Compile. And let's add some items. We can add apple, pear, bread, orange, water, well, anything which is a string. Compile. So an array is like a storage box. Inside it has a smaller storage box with some numbers, or it's called index. It's a number to indicate which box these values are stored. The same with the number array. Now let's try to access the items or the elements stored in the arrays. Let's start with the string array. Get array. So this is the storage box. And check it out. Search for get a copy. It's an array method for accessing the items. And you notice that the input pin has a number 0. When you click on the array, notice that the index over here, by default, it gets the index 0, the value, the item of index 0. And then we print out it does not show. We need to compile. Hold on, it's the wrong node. Let's do it again. So we need to select print string. Compile, print. Now we got first item. What if we want to get orange? So the index is 3. Change this number to 3. Compile, run. We got orange. The same if you want to access the other element, just use the corresponding index. What if we want to change the value of some element? I just delete all these nodes. We don't need them anymore. Now let's try to change the value of index 2. First, we need to read the array. And then we drag this pin out and let's search for array. You'll notice that under utilities array, there are so many methods we can use to work with this array. One of them is set array item element. And we want to set which one? Index 2, right? So let's change the index to and change the value of the index 2 into milk. Then we connect the execution pin. After we've done this, basically we already finished changing the array. So let's compile. Let's run. Well, nothing happens because we didn't output anything. Stop. Let's go to this array. And you'll notice that, hold on, it's not changed. Well, this is the default value. What we change when the game is playing is the copy in the memory. So we are not changing the default value. How do I know that if the change has been done successfully? Well, let's print it out. Let's try to get the value of the array and get one element. Let's get copy, this one. And we can print string. Be careful, not the log string, it's the print string. connect the execution pin, compile, Apple, because we output index 0. Now change to 2, compile. Now we got milk. So when the game is running, we change the index 2 from bread into milk, and it was done successfully. Alright, let's try some other method to see what else we can do. Let's delete this. Well, delete everything and get the array and search for array. You can try by yourself, try to add some item, append some item, clear, to see if it contains a certain item. Or insert an item to a certain location. You can also check if the array is empty or if it's not empty, and the length, basically how many the amount of items in an array. You can also reverse the order. You can shuffle. There are a lot you can do. Just try to play with it. However, over here, I would like to show you a very important one. It's called for each loop. There's another one called for each loop with break. We will explain this later, but try the for each loop first. A for each loop basically means it will go through all the items, and you can output every item from this pin. You can also output the index from this pin. So let's try to print out. Connect the execution pin, and let's change this duration to 20 seconds so we can see a little bit longer. Compile and print. It just output all the elements from index 0 to the last index. Now let's try the other for each loop, which is the for each loop break. It's a little bit challenging, but you can handle it. Let's delete what we have here. Read the array and search for each loop with break. And I want to also print out however, I want the loop stop when it finds the orange. To do that, we need to use a conditional flow control. We've learned that already in yesterday's lesson. That's the branch. Let's check another line out of this and check if the element equals to, what was that again? Orange. So search for equal. We need to use the string equal exactly string. So means every character in the string must be equal. Orange. And then once it found it, this condition will be true. If it's true, we want to break the loop. Drag this pin way back. Connect the break. Now it's a little bit difficult to see. You can double click to get a dot and then drag this out a little bit. Now you can see better. We can do it on this side as well. Compile. It didn't work because we forgot to connect this pin. So this node will never be executed because there's no connection. Now let's compile and print again. Let's change this to 20 seconds. Compile and run. Apple, pear, bread, orange, and it stopped. So the loop just breaks when it reaches this element. Alright, this lesson is getting pretty long, so we better stop now and let's continue in our next lesson. In this lesson, you've learned some basics about array, but we just played with some simple strings and integers. It doesn't seem to be useful, right? In our next lesson, the second part of this lesson, we are going to do something more interesting with the array. I want to place 3 lamps in this game level and store them in an array of actors. When the game starts, wait for 3 seconds. I want the lamps are switched on, like this. 1, 2, 3. All lights are on. Now, that's all for this lesson. We'll do this in the next one. See you in our next lesson.